General Assembly. My name is Adam Pod. I'm here at First Unitarian Brooklyn with the choir. Say hi, choir. Hi. We're going to do some singing. Hope you'll join us and have a great GA. Sing hush. Sing that again. Hush. Add some harmony. Hush. Hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh, hush. Hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush. Hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh, my Lord, what shall I do? Sounds like freedom. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like freedom. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? Sounds like justice. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Sounds like justice. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? Sing hush. 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 Somebody's calling my name. Oh, hush. Hush. Somebody's calling my name. Hush. Hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord. What shall I do? What shall
Good morning, everybody. My name is Justin Wilson. I use he, him pronouns, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this service at the First Universalist Church of Rochester. If you are here for the first time, we especially welcome you and thank you for making it to our worshiping community. You may notice today's worship is a little bit different than usual. We've got some more video and tech elements from General Assembly this year. Please remain after for coffee hour in the Claire Barton Lounge behind us, which you can get through either of those doors. There's also a visitor's form that you can find on the back of your order of service or by clicking the link in the chat online. Excuse me. Please fill that out so we can offer you a welcome beyond what we can here this morning and so you can stay up to date as to what's going on here at the church. If you have a big joy or sorrow in your heart this morning, just a reminder to please write it in the notebook here on the chancel or online in the Zoom chat before the chalice is lit. So now is a good time to do that. A couple quick announcements. Next week begins our summer adventure program for children. So if you are interested in that, please let me know. The parking lot is going to be sealed on Tuesday, July 7th. So just an advance notice, we won't be able to park on the 7th into the 8th. And so check the calendar if you have events planned for that day. The Fellowship Club for July will be canceled as a result. So we'll see you in August for that. And Pride Weekend is just 3 weeks away, so check the calendar. Yes, woo! Check the calendar and some of the bulletins in the hallway for more information on that. Before we turn to our neighbor, let's take a moment to say hello to our online community. Let's greet them by waving towards the Progress Pride flag where the camera is in the back corner there. If you're online, please pop a greeting into the chat. We're happy you're joining us. If you're here at First Universalist, let's take a moment to turn towards our neighbor and offer a greeting this morning. All right, everybody, let's move into our opening hymn. Please rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn number 318 in the gray hymnal, We Would Be One.
Good morning. I'm Elizabeth Osta, she, her pronouns, and I'm delighted to be here to see so many of you for the movie time. We didn't bring popcorn. I learned about love from my parents. My mother's Irish upbringing cautioned her not to wear her heart on her sleeve. Humor and the twinkle in her Irish eyes were filled with kindness. Dad's Italian roots gave him the ability to be warm and sentimental, and I was right there alongside him. He loved music. Our 7-bedroom home, filled with 7 children, was alive with music, and we spent many an hour around the piano singing together songs that Dad loved. Les Paul and Mary Ford, Perry Como, Mario Lanza, Sigmund Ronberg, Dinah Shore, Ethel Merman, Bing Crosby, and so many more. My oldest sister, Mary Jean, was the key accompanist, and Dad glowed as the music began. Sometimes I would step back and just listen. I'd often fall asleep with the sounds of music in my head and heart. I still do. Songs of love were the most popular. Deep in my heart, I have a dream of you. Catch a falling star. How much is that doggy in the window? Que sera, sera. And one of Dad's favorites, I'll Walk with God, from Student Prince. Dad's presence at daily Mass often gave him an opportunity to sing, and he did so proudly and in good tune. Some of my favorite times were going to early morning Mass with him. At the end of June 1979, not long after his retirement as Vice President of Employee Relations at Niagara Mohawk, Dad's song days at home were numbered. He'd been struggling with cancer, and it was winning. He lay quietly in his hospital bed in Syracuse, New York, drifting in and out. I'd been home visiting, holding tight to these last precious days. He taught me so much about what was important in life, and it was easily summed up in one word: love. I got a hold of a small tape recorder and brought him a rendition of his special song, sung by Mario Lanza. Dad had been pretty unresponsive these last few visits, so I knew this effort might be more for me, but I went ahead. After giving him some ice chips and holding his hand, I pushed the button, and the wondrous words softly filled the space. I'll walk with God from this day on. His helping hand I'll lean upon. There is no death, though eyes grow dim. There is no fear when I'm near to him. I'll never walk alone while I walk with God. When the song ended, I bent down to give Dad a kiss. Tears were streaming down his cheeks. It was then that I knew love was still at the center and always would be. Come, let us join in worship. Would Dave Benarzil come forward to light our chalice at First Universalist as you light your chalice in your own homes? Please join me in our chalice words spoken in unison. May we be a people of welcome, here to grow in heart and mind and spirit. And may we reach out to serve the community. Please rise in body or in spirit for our affirmation of faith. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek fellowship, to serve humanity in fellowship, and all souls shall grow into harmony with the source and meaning of life. Thus do we covenant with each other and with all. I invite you now into the spiritual practice of generosity. The good work of this church is funded by the gifts you give. Part of that work is our online ministry and tech teams who work with our tech assistant to support virtual participation in worship. They include online greeters, ushers, as well as the folk operating the tech desk, sound system, and the camera on Sundays. Can't beat it. Would any members of that online tech team please raise your hands or stand if you're online? There they are. We are so blessed. We're so grateful for your contribution to our life of this church and the needs of the world. Let us give with grateful hearts this morning. Please place your offering in the offering basket as it comes by, or give online by scanning the QR code on the laminated sheet in your pew. This is also a great time to place your visitors' forms in the offering basket. For folks online, please click the link in the chat to give to First Universalist Church. Thank you all for your generosity. This morning's offering will now be gratefully received.
I trust the movement, I negate the chaos. uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to listen. Whoa, 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 whoa,
These times are poignant, the winds have shifted. It's all we can do to stay uplifted. Pipelines to backyards, goes out in our front. Yeah, I've got my crew, but truth is what I want. Realigned and on point, power to the peaceful, prayers to the waters, women at the center, all vessels open to give and receive. Let's see the system brought down to its knees. Whoa, 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 whoa,
I'm made of thunder, I'm made of lightning, I'm made of dirt, yeah, made of the fine things. My father taught me that I'm a speck of dust and this world was meant for me, so let's go and try our luck. Said, I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down deep. I've got my roots down, 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 down. I've got my roots down, down,
My voice feels tiny and the shore so does yours. Let's all together make a mighty I am resilient, I trust the movement, I hit the chaos, uplift the negative. I'll show up at the table again and again and again. I'll close my mouth and learn to
And now we go to our story. This morning's story is called The Little Purple Hen. Maybe you've heard of the Little Red Hen, but Reverend Johanna Fontaine Crawford gives us now the Little Purple Hen. The Little Red Hen, who baked bread all on her own and kept it all to herself. But have you heard of the Little Purple Hen? The little purple hen found a sack of wheat seed and rushed to tell her friends. "Look at all this seed I found," said the little purple hen. "Let's see if it's still good," said the pig. He examined it under a microscope and saw that most of the seeds were fresh and ready to be used. "You'll want some of my special fertilizer for that," said the cow. She hurried home to get some. "I love to plant," said the puppy, who was only 4 years old. "Can I help with that?" and Puppy and the little purple hen planted all the seeds that Pig examined and found fresh, and added the fertilizer that Cow brought. Several weeks went by, and the seeds began to grow. The little purple hen planned on using Saturday to do her weeding. When she got outside that morning, she was shocked. There were no weeds. That must be some fertilizer, she said. Just then, Farmer Joe wandered by. Farmer Joe, all the weeds in my garden disappeared, said Little Purple Hen. Yep, they did, he laughed. A cow and a pig and a puppy were over here yesterday, and they pulled them all up. Of course, I'm kind of an expert on weeds, so I showed them which ones to pull up and what to leave. Thank you, said the Little Purple Hen. As the weeks went by, the sun ripened the wheat until it was ready to harvest. The Little Purple Hen got up early Saturday morning and went down to her garden. There was Farmer Joe with his nice plow and cow, pig, and puppy, and someone else. This is my friend Cat, said Pig. We're here to help with the harvest. Nice to meet you, Cat, said Little Purple Hen. Oh, I love me a good harvest, purred Cat. As they worked together harvesting the wheat, they discussed getting the wheat ground into flour. You know, I have a brother-in-law who owns a granary, said Cat. She called him up, and he said he'd be happy to let them use his grinding machine after hours. I'll take it over there, said Farmer Joe. Oh, we want to go with you, said friends. So they all went over to the granary, and while the machine worked, they ate pizza. Cat's brother-in-law joined them and said, you know, I have a friend who owns a bakery. He has big ovens. Maybe we could use them. Wow, said Little Purple Hen. I just planned on making one loaf, but with all this grain we've harvested, if we could use his big ovens, we could make many loaves. A few days later, Little Purple Hen and Cow and Pig and Puppy and Farmer Joe and Cat's brother-in-law all met at the bakery of Cat's brother-in-law's friend. They mixed the dough and let it rise and baked it in the giant ovens. They kept doing this over and over. At the end of the day, they put the last loaves in the oven and counted all the loaves cooling on the counters. And with all those ovens, we'll have 267 loaves, said the pig. They all looked at each other in amazement. Well, of course, we'll have to take some of the bread, said Little Purple Hen. But there's so much. What will we do with it all? And Cow said, I know of a homeless shelter that would love fresh bread. And Puppy said, I know of a daycare program with kids who would love fresh bread. And Pig said, I know of a food pantry with giant freezers so they can freeze a lot of the bread to eat later. So they shared all the bread and each took home several loaves and felt very rich indeed and very proud of themselves for all they had accomplished. And the Little Purple Hen said, thank you. Would you please rise in body or spirit to sing our doxology as our children make their way up to religious education?
I invite you now into this reverent time of sharing the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. If you would like to, you can place your hand over your heart to be able to listen from a more heart-centered place. We know so much is going on in the world today, and if you have joys or sorrows to share on behalf of our national or global or local community, you are truly encouraged to do so today and into the future. As Elizabeth Osta places stones into a bowl, I will read aloud the joys and sorrows of our gathered community. And I purposefully move them out of order because we have a lot of sorrows today. A sorrow from Kitty. Please pray for my dear friend Phyllis, who was recently diagnosed with a very serious brain tumor. A sorrow from Elizabeth Osta. Any strong vibes for my 82-year-old brother Tom, who is faced with the ending of his marriage of more than 30 years. A mixed joy and sorrow from David, excited to welcome a new niece, Marigold, into the world, born last Wednesday, but a sorrow over health problems in two cats who have been my friend for 14 years. A sorrow from Dan, whose friend passed this week at just 33 years of age. A joy from Bill Elwell for Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy. I think some of us understand why. And lastly, I saved this one to uplift us, a joy from Kitty, who is so lucky to have had one of the best vacations of her life, and also on June 17th celebrated 19 years of sobriety. Yes. Today, we share in a community ritual to honor the many joys and sorrows we bring into this space, whether read aloud or kept in the silent sanctuaries of our heart. In a moment, those here in person are invited to come forward to drop stones into the bowls. If you need to remain seated, please raise your hand or have someone near you raise their hand so we can come to you with a bowl to drop stones in. If you're joining us online, please send a heart emoji in the meeting chat in place of a stone. Let us join now in this collective ritual of honoring the joys and sorrows of us all. Let this ritual be a reminder that we are never alone in our sorrows, and our joys may uplift our community. Now the circle of our care is drawn larger, and may it increase forevermore. We're now going to join our pastoral prayer on the televisions, followed by our hymn of contemplation, and then the sermon.
Last night, I dreamed that 10,000 grandmothers from 1,200 corners of the earth walked out into the gap, one breath deep between the bullet and the flesh, between the bomb and the family. They told me we cannot wait for governments. There are no peacekeepers boarding planes. There are no leaders who dare to say every life is precious, so it will have to be us. They said we will cup our hands around each heart, and we will sing the earth's song, the song of water. A song so beautiful that vengeance will turn to weeping. The mourners will embrace, and grief replace every impulse towards harm. 10,000 is not enough, they said. So we've sent this dream, like a flock of doves into the sleep of the world. Wake up, put on your shoes, you who are reading this. I am bringing bandages and a bag of scented guavas from my trees. I think I remember the tune. Meet me at the corner. Let's go.
Last night, somewhere between the end of all we know and the faint beginning of something new, a dream emerged. 10,000 ancestors from all corners of the earth moved into a gap, one breath deep, into the space between all that has already happened and all that is yet to come. They carry songs, they carry stories, and they are calling us to join them. These rich images come from Aurora Levins Morales, a Puerto Rican Jewish poet and activist. In those days, immediately following the October 7th attack in Israel, Morales struggled to find a way through the atrocity to something human. The poet gives us a summons to show up at the corner. But first, she invites us into a gap, one breath deep. Here, the ancestors cup their hands around our hearts. Here is blessing. Here is healing. Here is transformation. Here is worship. For many people living in the United States, these past several years have left us profoundly and deeply unsettled. We have been feeling the meanness of the world in genocide and in warfare, in the hoarding of resources that leaves millions without basic human needs, in policy changes that say some lives are more precious than others. The ground is shaking and it feels like everyone is on edge. The world that we thought we knew doesn't exist anymore, not in the same way. The Turkish journalist Ece Temelkuran writes about the decline of democracy, and she says that we are grieving in future tense. We're grieving in future tense, grieving what has already been slipping away, even before it's gone, grieving what has already been lost and what may yet be taken. Some of this grief may be new for people who have not had to name this before. The structures of white supremacy have remained well hidden in the background of life, quietly shaping what was accepted as normal, natural, or simply the way things are. But now, what has been hidden is becoming harder to ignore, and more people are waking up to the urgency of this moment, rousing them from what the poet calls the sleep of the world. Now, I know that many of you are already awake. You are doing everything that you can to proclaim every life precious, everyone deserving a chance to live fully and freely. Unitarian Universalists have long been a people of action. We know how to organize, we know how to show up. We are practiced in the art of doing. And if we're honest, that strength carries a shadow. Our religious tradition has been shaped in part by a culture that teaches us to measure our worth by what we accomplish, to equate goodness with effort, and to feel most at home when we're busy and striving. Pair this with a hurting world begging for our attention, and then things like rest can feel irresponsible. Asking for help can feel weak. And simply sitting in stillness can sometimes feel unbearable as doubt and worry rise to the surface of our lives. That's why this gap is so important. Whether it's 1 breath deep or 1 hour deep, this is a moment made sacred by our intentions and our promises. Here, in the place between where we've been and where we dare to dream, our lives are shaped and molded by our spiritual practices of worship, small group sharing, and deep study. Mark Nepo says that when we meet like this, we aren't just being self-reflective, we are strengthening the immune system of humanity. We are strengthening the immune system of humanity. Here is where we remember who we are and to whom we belong. Here is where we practice love as a response to the love that first summoned us. There was an extraordinary Cambodian monk named Mahagasananda who survived the brutality of the Khmer Rouge regime. Later, he served in the refugee camps, and in one of those camps, he opened a Buddhist temple, despite threats from the authorities that anyone who attended would be killed. Still, on opening day, more than 20,000 people gathered. These were people who had lost nearly everything, families shattered by war, communities terrorized by violence, people who had suffered beyond what most of us can even imagine. And there, in that dusty square, Mahagasananda led them in a timeless Buddhist teaching. Hatred never ceases by hatred. By love only is hatred healed. This is the ancient and eternal law. Thousands and thousands of people began chanting those words together, not because love is sentimental, not because love is easy, but because they understood that only love could build a future worth living in. After the 2024 General Assembly, I came home and told some of my interfaith colleagues that 80% of the Unitarian Universalist delegates had voted to declare love as the center of our faith. One of them, who's a good friend of mine, kind of sighed and said, love is very abstract. It means 100 different things and it means nothing at all. And religion has been preaching and teaching love for the last 2,000 years, but look at the way we treat each other. I know what they mean. I've heard that before from Unitarian Universalists, too. Love has become a cliche, a greeting card, a slogan, a marketing campaign, a word stretched so thin that it can barely hold any weight at all. Even when Dr. King invoked love, they called it emotional bosh, weak, sentimental, passive. And some of us have learned to distrust the word entirely because the word love has been used to excuse harm, to silence truth, to avoid accountability, and to demand submission. But without an ethic of love, human beings start treating each other as objects, as obstacles and problems to be dealt with. A people organized around fear will produce punishment. A people organized around greed will produce trillionaires. But a people disciplined by love can begin to repair the world. This is why the poet calls us into the gap, one breath deep, before sending us out into the world. In this space, we remember our religious inheritance, a treasure carried by our Universalist ancestors who claimed that God's love was so complete that no one would ever be outside of this love, no matter what. And our Unitarian ancestors who admired Jesus as a fully realized human being, showing us that our capacity for love is far greater than we can imagine. So, what do we mean by love when we dare to place it at the center of our faith? There are so many kinds of love in our lives. Romantic love can be beautiful. Love for friends and family can be deep and fulfilling. Love, as we speak of it in our congregations and in our practice communities, though, is a little bit different because that love that we practice in those communities does not require fondness, affection, or any positive feelings at all. As the psychiatrist M. Scott Peck wrote, love is not a vague sentiment, but an intention and a discipline. He says, it is the willingness to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Sometimes that can look grand and heroic. Just as often, it looks like that couple who drives an elder member to church, even though it's out of the way and it's not so easy to coordinate, and sometimes it conflicts with other things they want to do. It looks like two people fighting as they're organizing an event and resisting the urge to turn away, willing to sit in discomfort long enough to speak honestly and to find their way toward new understanding. It looks like taking the time to get to know a stranger in need, learning their story, and welcoming them into the community as a full participant rather than an object of charity. It looks like making a personal promise to talk with one new person during coffee hour instead of huddling with their best friends. It looks like forgiving someone who hurt you because the burden on your own heart has become too great to carry. Love is so much more than what we feel. It is a discipline we choose freely and willingly for the sake of another's growth and well-being, including our own. My friends, I know that love is a word that carries many, many different meanings. Its power can feel fragile in the face of the forces gathered against us. At times, we may even doubt that love will prevail. Still, I am profoundly grateful to the Unitarian Universalist that we have not given up on love. In a community that embraces many spiritual perspectives and seeks to draw the circle wider, love is our common language. It allows us to speak of the mystery we cannot name, the goodness of life that exceeds us, and the sacred ties that bind us each to all. As Nora said, flowers cannot bloom without the sun, and we cannot bloom without love. When you fall, love is what catches you. Love is the everlasting light in the dark. So, are you ready to be disciples of love? Yes. All right. Now, I know that talking about discipleship may feel unfamiliar in a Unitarian Universalist setting. We have seen how easily discipleship can be distorted when it becomes a cult of personality rather than a liberating path. For some people, the word disciple carries painful associations: control, hierarchy, the surrender of one's own spiritual authority. But the discipline and the discipleship that I'm talking about and inviting us all into is all about studying love. It's about practicing love. And it's about moving in the world having been formed by love. Every path of formation can reorder a life and give it a new center of gravity because every discipline asks something of us. To be a disciple of love is to allow ourselves to be reshaped and stretched often beyond what is comfortable, especially when we are called to love our enemy. Or in UU words, to affirm the inherent worth and dignity of all, even of those who would use their power to deny that dignity to others. Discipleship is not easy, and yet following the way of love is what keeps us from being consumed by the very forces that we are trying to resist. Without a discipline of love, our activism will burn out. Our longing for justice can become untethered from mercy, and we risk becoming spiritually starved. I know what that feels like. When I returned to parish ministry after years in healthcare chaplaincy, I was so swept up in the busyness of the congregation and the urgency of meeting this moment that I nearly forgot the very practices that made such work possible. My physical health suffered. My mental health suffered. And this is why the ancestors, in their wisdom, call us into the gap, call us into moments of spiritual practice. Before we fill our bags with scented guava and bandages and rush out into the world, those ancestors call us to first gather in places like this, where grief is never denied, where joy is welcomed with abandon, a place where people return to the practices that shape them, where disciples study love carefully, practice it imperfectly, and when they fail, begin again, begin again. The world is weary of performative righteousness. Instead, this hurting world needs people who can remain human in inhumane times. It needs people who can tell the truth without surrendering to cruelty, who can resist despair without pretending everything is going to be okay. So, my friends, the world is calling us to the corner. So gather up your things, take one another's hands, and let's go together as disciples of love.
Please remain standing as Dave extinguishes our chalice flame this morning. And while you extinguish your chalice at home, we will watch the extinguishing of the General Assembly flame as well in a moment. After the service, everyone is invited to join us for coffee hour immediately in the Clara Barton Lounge behind us or online in the current Zoom link. We hope to see you there.
And now we'll extinguish our chalice. As those of you joining from Zoom extinguish your chalices, together we are writing a story that will be told by tomorrow's Unitarian Universalists. May that story tell how we met a fearful and dangerous moment with open hearts reaching out to one another across every dividing line. May this be ever so. Go in peace, my friends. Go in love.
You know what? I heard that joy is an act of resistance. Can I say that again? Joy is an act of resistance. So we're going to have a little bit of joy. Wherever you are, I want you to rise in body or spirit as we sing, "This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and guess what? The world can't take it away." Can I get an amen, somebody? All right, let's do this, y'all. This joy that I have, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this joy that the world didn't give it, the world didn't give it, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it, the world didn't give it, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This strength that I have, this strength that I have, the world didn't give it, the world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have, the world didn't give it, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. This love that I have, this love that I have, the world didn't give it, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have, the world didn't give it, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. I think we're gonna need to take it up a little bit, a little bit. This pride that I have, the world didn't give it, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give The world can't take it away. Amen.